Hey everyone, I have three very exciting special announcements for you today. The first is in regards to the online International Chant Conference happening next month. The second is in regards to exciting new developments here in the Chant Academy. And the third is, well, you'll just have to stick around to the end. But for the first announcement, well, let's go have a seat. Okay. So, at the end of next month, September, I will be hosting the second online international conference on Gregorian chant. Now, it was previously announced that our final speaker would be the Benedictine monk Dom Alcuin Reid. However, due to various circumstances, he is now unfortunately unable to join us. But to fill his place, we are very happy to welcome back from last year Dr. William Mart, president of the Church Music Association of America and their annual Sacred Music Colloquium. He will be presenting on Gregorian chant as the paradigm of sacred music and what makes sacred music sacred. So if you haven't registered for the conference yet, be sure to do so today. You will find links for it down in the description below. Okay, now on to special announcement number 2. Let's go over here. Okay. Now for the second announcement. There we go. Have you ever heard of Floriani Sacred Music? Well, if you haven't, you should. Floriani is a 4-man performing ensemble directed by my old friend Giorgio Navarini and founded in the same year that I founded this academy. Back at the beginning of this year, 2023, I realized that I couldn't continue doing all of the work of this academy all by myself. It is inefficient, ineffective, and it was burning me into the ground. So I realized I needed to put a team together. But why should I go out and create an entirely new team and new organization when I realized that with Floriani, they already had a team together, an organization, with essentially the same mission as my own. So I asked Giorgio, what do you think about merging? He liked the idea, and I'm happy to announce that now, as of Pentecost of this year, Floriani and Gregorian Chant Academy have merged and we are one organization now, with basically 2 departments, 2 divisions. Floriani is perhaps primarily the performing division, both for liturgies and for concerts traveling around the States and even around the world, while Gregorian Chant Academy is primarily the educational division, but both are under the same umbrella of Floriani. So, whether you donate to Gregorian Chant Academy or to Floriani, it all goes to the same place, and Floriani is a 501c3 nonprofit, which means your donations are tax deductible. And now, Floriani is no longer a 4-man, but a 5-man ensemble, I being the newest member. The second part of this announcement is that here on the Gregorian Chant Academy channel, I will be beginning a new video podcast series on sacred music. Think Square Notes podcast meets Pints with Aquinas. And if you're not familiar with the Square Notes podcast yet, be sure to check it out. To kick off the podcast, I will be interviewing each of the other members of Floriani so that you can all get to know them better. So stay tuned for that podcast. Okay, so now, what about the third announcement? Well, let's go over here. Since I will be starting a video podcast here on this chant channel, for a long time I have been wanting to interview a number of different people on a variety of different Catholic-related topics, but not necessarily related to sacred music, so it doesn't make sense that I should host that content here on this channel. So, I am announcing that I have now created an entirely new, separate and independent video podcast channel to host that kind of content. And what is it called? Pipes with Augustine. Yes, it's a play off of Matt Fradd's Pints with Aquinas, but no, I am not trying to copy him. Actually, he's probably my favorite Catholic podcaster, and I greatly admire him and his works. But I also really like St. Augustine, and pipes and cigars, and really good beer. So, to give you a taste of the content that will be there, Next month, September, I will be interviewing good friend and exorcist Father Chad Ripperger about the philosophical and theological problems regarding the development and use of artificial intelligence, AI. But to kick it off, this month I will actually be interviewing my own dad, William F. Jasper, who's the senior editor of the New American Magazine. We will be discussing some of the effects or tactics of modern communism in our world today. Communism is something which Our Lady of Fatima warned about, and many popes have written encyclicals warning about. And so we will be looking at some of the effects of this in our world today, and specifically looking at some of the economic aspects. Then next month, Father Ripperger. After that, I'm really hoping to interview Father Joseph Bissek, the founder of the Fraternity of St. Peter, about the history of the Society of St. Pius X and the Fraternity of St. Peter, since he has a very unique and interesting perspective and take on that issue. Then really would like to interview Dr. Peter Kreft or Dr. Dennis McInerney about Tolkien and his works. So that should give you an idea of the kind of content that will be hosted there, again beginning this month with my dad and next month with Father Ripperger. So to recap, if you haven't done so already, be sure to check out and register for the Chant Conference next month. Stay tuned for the upcoming video podcast here on the Chant channel, and go and check out my new podcast channel, Pipes with Augustine. And as always, there'll be links to everything down below. We'll see you there.